Welcome back to the Q&A session with AuthenticYoung and Callie. Uh, if you missed the last episode, we talked a little bit about the Machinima they're working on, their own experiences in Star Citizen thus far. And if you want to check that out, it'll be right above Authie's head in YouTube land. Otherwise, it'll be the previous episode if you're listening to this on the podcast. And of course, just kind of earlier in the stream if you're watching this on YouTube or on Twitch. But this is a section where I take question and answers from the chat for the cast, for myself, for individual cast members, for whoever. So yeah, if you want to join us live as well while we ask these questions, twitch.tv/TheAstroPub on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to see you join us live. All right, so the first question comes from Outlaw Knight Zero, who asks, what are the big inspirations for the stories that you tell? Authie, I'll start with you on that one.
So far, at least I don't want to speak for Kelly, but I think that it hasn't been our story to tell yet. It was a Geek Citizen that started it and wrote it, and we've kind of, when they ask us to improvise, we tend to say what we would say in the scenario. But I think that it would be great to have like a writer's table where people that wanted to write stories would sit around and chat. But since this is the very first one and we're trying it out, hopefully that happens and we can get some scripts going.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
all right.
I like that. The writer's table. I like that idea.
All right, next question comes from Calgen, who asks, how do you all envision the process of recording a machinima once the game is out of alpha? When it's like more complete, less buggy, how do you envision the process in the future?
Much smoother.
Easier.
Just easier.
Yeah, we were like filming during Invictus, which was probably the worst time that we could have filmed. There was just, that's when the duplication bug was happening. It's like when all of the major bugs that we know of 0.1 right now, that's when they all kind of came to the surface. So it was great.
Yeah, bugs can be a big hindrance, especially with how long it takes for everything to get done with just in a regular gameplay session, let alone trying to coordinate so many other people to fill a script or even just to fill a scene. So, all right, next question comes from QPan, who asks, how's everyone doing? Callie, start with you. How are you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, doing good. Glad it's the weekend. Ready to just hang out, chill. Glad to be here.
Authie?
I'm doing great as well. I just moved recently, and it just feels wonderful to actually be in the house. Not settled because we have a lot of boxes, but pretty settled. So, and I have finally, instead of being in my bedroom, I actually have an office/studio. So I'm very excited about that I actually finally get to decorate and make this my own. So
I feel that. I moved 2 years ago to my first house. It was my first house that I owned, and as a result, I've been living out of boxes I'd been living out of boxes almost constantly because we'd like moved every like year or two. We'd move to a new apartment, and so like we just finished unloading most of our boxes, I think 3 months ago, and we're still like not fully settled into the house. So I get that feeling. I'm doing okay, QPan. I'm doing all right. I could use more sleep, but that's can't we all use more sleep? All right. Next question comes from Ionic Gecko, who asks, what is the dream machinima you wish you could someday make in Star Citizen? Start with you on this one, Authie. If you could make something, tell a story, your dream story to tell. If you were the one in charge, you had everything, all the control.
Okay, I do actually have one story that I play out a lot in my head, and it's when I'm in my 890. I did buy an 890 in February. That's how dedicated I am to this game. But I want to get exotic fish for my fish tanks in there, and I see myself being kind of like a mix between Han Solo and Kirk from Star Trek, and kind kind of just like getting those fish somehow. I don't need to know how. I just have like a group of people around me that are helping me get my fish. And I just feel like I'd be hosting like a huge party on my 890J, but behind the scenes, I'd be like talking to someone who's got like security out there trying to get this fish for me, and then someone trying to steal the fish from me while while I'm hosting this party. There might be some poison in the food. Like I have this whole like idea going on in my head about this type of event that I want to have, and kind of like a cover up almost, like the party's the cover up, but it's also super fun. But also trying to get these fish. So that's a story that I have in my head, and I would like to play it out someday.
Nice. Yeah. Callie?
I love the poisoning part. I just can't get over that. I've been trying to make a few machinimas on the side. They mostly focus around just like mindful gameplay. Because that's something that I think Star Citizen is my go-to right now for trying to find some peace in my life. So, if I'm extra stressed, I'll just kind of like go to the asteroid belt or go fly around and explore a moon somewhere. So my dream is to hopefully go around and explore different moons with like maybe like an inner monologue of someone who's exploring all the different shelter areas and having adventures on different moons.
Very cool. Kind of a nature documentary vibe kind of thing as well. Like,
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
travel
Yep.
logs. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Cupan, who asks, "What is your favorite daily driver in the verse?" Callie, we'll start with you in this one. Daily driver, think ship you fly all the time.
Lately, it's been the Banu Defender only because it can handle my landings. Yeah, and crab. And crab.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
see.
Banu Defender.
You're a fellow person of culture as well, landing way too hard when you're supposed compared to that's supposed to break. Authy, how about you? Daily driver.
I would say it's a toss between the 600i and the 300i. The 600's usually what I take, but honestly, a lot of times I'll find myself just hopping my 300 and zipping across Stanton to get somewhere. So I'd say it's between those two.
Okay. I'm a big fan of 315p. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's why one of the things I do that I kind of like been trying to get like as be the guy for is smuggling. So I'll be the person who gives you those fish.
Yay!
And you don't ask a lot of questions about.
Right.
But and in my process of kind of learning like what's the best sort of ships for smuggling, the 315p is fantastic because it's got a huge cargo bay for its size compared to like other things. It's fast, it's maneuverable, and it's small, so it has a very small signature. So you can pretty much go anywhere and do anything you need to, especially with the smaller loads of most smuggling requires, and be out than any other ship in the verse right now. So it's pretty good. What's the question again? My daily driver is a Cutlass Red right now because smuggling, people ask like, hopefully in the future it's more like get pulled over and someone's like, why do you have all these drugs in the back? It's like, it's an ambulance, sir. Of course we have drugs in the back. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
That is great. That's what we're playing right there.
Yeah. Fist and Jawa asks, what location was your favorite to film in? Start with you, Authy, on this one.
I would say it was Daymar, because of the atmosphere. I love Orison for its beauty, but honestly, it was Daymar. I something about being able to jump from ships and not dying, and that type of stuff, and it was fun. I had fun there.
Nice. Callie?
Yeah, mine's Daymar too. It was very pretty being there, and I like that we were able to go into like I think it was the racetrack. I'm pretty sure that we were at the place where they held the Daymar rally, but we went down into the track area and found that cool stone to kind of make a. So one person was like driving in, and we were sitting on the stone, and it was just really cool. It all kind of it looked really neat. It was a cool scene.
All right. Goki asks, what in-game tools would you like to see added to making machinimas easier? I think we already talked about this a little bit, but we can kind of recap this. Callie, what kind of tools would you like to see in?
So tools would probably so there was a lot of like camera issues happening with like the camera being shaky, the camera doing this or that. I just remember the cameraman always being like, "Oh, like this is terrible. What is happening right now to my camera?" So better camera controls would be amazing for this. And I know they're kind of like working with less springy action. I don't know the correct term for it,
Yeah.
but they were trying to do something with an update recently with the spring motion. So just more of that
Authentic?
would be helpful.
I would agree with Callie. The second thing that pops into my mind is VOP. So that sometimes that got a little wonky. We'd be like talking, we'd be like really trying to like exaggerate,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't catching us exactly the way it should have been. So if that could
Mhm.
just work a tiny bit better, that would be great too.
FOIP is always the one of those weird things where sometimes it can work perfectly and sometimes it can make you look like you have a stroke. So
Yeah. The smiles are a little bit weird sometimes. Like just put a helmet on.
Yeah, just to put a helmet on, just please. 89 Dig Dug asks, what gameplay loop that isn't in the game yet are you most looking forward to? Authy, we'll start with you on that one.
I would say it hasn't been promised or anything, but I fall back to survival type games. Icarus, like I could see falling on a ship, like something going wrong with my 890 or 600. Let's say I'm out and I blow an engine and I can't make it somewhere, so I land on a ship or land on a planet, and I've got to like fix this before X amount of time, and I'm able to like build a shelter and find the things that I need to fix the ship. So those are the types of things where you have more like some survival thrown in there on top of stuff. Those types of game loops are things that really excite me. So I
Nice.
hope I
So
see them.
more survival stuff. Yeah, I know they're
Yeah.
planning on it. They do. Chris
Yeah.
has talked about the idea of like crash landing on a planet and having to survive for long periods of time. So
It'd be awesome.
Callie.
Yeah, so I didn't really know about this until recently, but salvage. I think that salvage is going to be awesome. I didn't think it would be something that I was into, but the more that people talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for salvage. I think it'll be really profitable too, but I think it's going to be a super exciting game loop to add in there.
Yes. All right. Fist and Jawa ask, if you could do anything over in the Machinima, what would you do? Callie, I'll start with that one.
Anything over?
Like a redo, a fix.
I think that we did good for our first time. I don't know. I know that's like a standard answer, but I think that it was awesome. I mean, I know we're all kind of like fighting against the game a little bit here and there, also fighting against schedules. So maybe do-over would just be to take a little bit more time and to try to like get those scenes better and to try to work more together. Because I know we did it a little bit like split apart. It would be cooler if the team could just work in bigger groups, because like normally it was just like Authy and Gonzo and I, and then they would split off and like it would be like three other people. Like I don't think I barely ever really saw Fist and Jawa, even though they're a big part of the film, just because the schedule didn't work out. So maybe just meeting up with everyone and actually getting to like hang out with them would be cool too.
Nice. Authy, same question.
The only thing I guess I think there were a lot of scenes cut out because of time and how much it was actually going to take to put it all together, because I don't think anyone knew how much it was going to take. And I know there was a bar scene that was supposed to bring in some more Galacticals. So like that could have been like cool to have in there, because they're just having a larger group like Callie is saying, and that's I know that like Allie was actually in the group and she didn't pop in to the bar scene because we had to cut it, 'cause there just wasn't enough time.
Okay. Randier Loam, I think is asking a question for you, Authy. Why are Origin ships the best ships, and why are Drake ships so bad?
How did you know Drake ships are so bad? Because I always say it. I'm like, I'm not putting a Drake fish on I'm not getting a river fish. That belongs on a Drake. I want an exotic fish. I do talk about Drakes a lot because some of them, like the Cutlass doesn't have a bathroom. The Vulture, which I do want because I'm with Callie, I want to start scavenging, but they have like a water closet. Have you seen the bathroom in that thing, Callie? You actually have to squat and climb in.
Bad.
Like you can't stand on it.
Drake toilets, man.
Yes. So I have when you walk onto an Origin ship, first of all, usually there's a whole bunch of champagne,
Mm-hmm.
and the counters are beautiful, the lighting is beautiful, and they purr. Like if you take one of those out and you're like flying it, and then you switch over to say like a Nomad or a Cutlass or an MSR even, they're very like you can feel it. And that's one of the great things about the game is all the ships actually feel different to fly. But once you get into that side of an Origin, after I've been in another ship for a while, I'm always like, do you feel that purr? Like you can't feel it. You can just like you can almost feel the purr of a 300, and it's beautiful. I love it. I like I have high taste, fine taste. I don't
High
know what you'd say.
expectations.
Yeah.
Refined tastes when it comes to ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a 100% big fan of Drake, but I understand that Drake, as its core, is ratchet. Its appeal to me is the ratchet design. It's designed as if like you get tetanus by looking at it, and I love that idea. So it's just
Yeah.
it's like we no frills, but you're gonna get from point A to point B, and it's not gonna cost you anything. Whereas I understand the origin appeal of being like. Then like if I'm leaving as the space, if I'm leaving the ground, I better have perfumed air blowing in my face 24/7.
You know it's filtered.
Yes.
Like it's so
All right. Next question comes from Ionic Gecko, who asks, assuming you will be role playing in the verse, do you have a backstory for your character? For example, the star system they're from, their career path, etc. Callie, I'll start with this one. Do you have a backstory, character, everything?
Not for my character right now. I've thought of a couple, but I think that I've just been hopping in and out of PTU too much to like actually make it a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the wipes and stuff. I don't know. I think I would like to do that eventually, but for right now, I don't have one. No.
Authy?
I'm similar to Kelly. I've like have some ideas in my head. I've actually talked to some people about role playing, and I wanted to write up a sheet like a D&D sheet almost
Mm-hmm.
where I have traits and like something that could be horribly wrong, but I have to deal with it. So basically, the only thing that I have for Authy right now is she lives on Orison, and she has some kind of money somehow because she's always in origin ships.
Origin
So
ships.
yeah, so there's that. And so I was thinking about writing up a sheet just to help outline like what my character would be like and what are her traits and what are her faults and go from there.
Nice. Yeah, I got to
Yeah.
introduce you to Mythmatic. He's another role player in Star Citizen. Does a lot of role play stuff. He does what he calls immersive role play, where he'll stream the game in character with like camera angles and everything else like that, and try to stay in character as much as possible, no matter what. So he's always
It's
looking for more people to
amazing.
hang out like that. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
awesome. I have to say, I was walking through Hex the other day and I was trying to bring Rip Rod with me. We were just going on he and I were just going to do this one adventure by ourselves. And there was a dude that was in there and he was like, you want to buy some? He was like, you want to buy some drugs? And then it was just like talk over talk. And I was like, we're in Hex. And he's like, don't get on our ship. You're going to die. Like, it was just really, it was awesome though, because it really felt like, he's like a character that we're walking past. And it was just hilarious how like, interacting with the voice in game, and it really felt like we're in Grimhax. Like I
Yeah.
can feel it. So
I-
that was awesome.
VoIP changes the whole game dramatically. So,
Mhm.
all right. Next question comes from. Okay, I think this is also for you there, Authy, from Black Dream Hunk, who asks, "Is the 890 jump an exploration ship?"
I'm gonna say yes, and I might get some flack for that because a lot of people like the Carrack as an exploration ship, and there is some talk of the Carracks can be better at a lot of things versus the 890, but you have to remember the 890 is pure luxury. So even if it takes a little longer to get there because of the drive or whatever, you just have to remember that you are surrounded by luxury and enjoy the ride. But
It's
I
the,
would
it's,
call it an exploration ship, yes.
it's the journey, not the destination, right? For
Yes, yes,
exploration. Yeah.
exactly.
All right. Del Ener asks, a screenshot from PTU showed in-game advertisements for PTV racing at the Vision Center. What other things would you all like to see happen in a convention center in-game? So what kind of things would you say? I mean, you've obviously been around since like Invictus and seen that. I don't know if y'all were here for the IAE, which is similar to Invictus, where you can go in and like rent everything and that kind of stuff. It happens in November every year.
Not yet.
So
There
it's very
was
similar.
like
but
During Alien Week, I was kind of let down. I thought so I'm new still.
Yeah.
I thought Alien Week would be kind of another convention type thing where you go in and maybe you get to meet an alien or see like a statue of one or something. But
Hmm.
it was more of an online presence versus actually being in the verse. And
Hmm.
I got really excited for Alien Week, and then it was like the first day came, and I was like, oh, it's not like that. So that would be really cool if we had some sort of Alien Week convention. That would be really neat.
Okay. Authy?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I would like. I agree with that. Like I didn't even think about that, Kelly. That's amazing. I would like to see some aliens too. That'd be awesome. I think a lot of people that are new to the game might not know, like having a representation. Like if you wanted to hire me to walk people through origin ships, or
Yeah.
having someone there to like walk you through what the ships have to offer. Maybe take people on flight, like a group of people, take them up and fly them, let them fly. More more guidance, or at least having some people there to help guide.
Okay.
So
It's like more
that'd be cool to see.
in-game guide stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Or yeah, but more like people, like
Yeah.
personal guides. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like. I'm a big fan of like flea markets and farmers markets. So I'd love to see like an event in a convention center like that, where it's like, yeah, you can go get anything you want from the game, but it's only in this location on Sundays. So you got to go into the convention center on Sundays to go like in to be able to get, or between this time and this time to be able to get to go talk to any of the events there. Stuff like that sounds cool to me. Something limited but like accessible. You know what I mean? That would convince people to
That
like
would be
land.
awesome.
Like to
That's
go to
Yeah.
Orison. Why do you want to go to
Especially if you were
Orison?
like
Go. Sorry.
I was gonna say, especially if you're like looking for a certain booster and you can only get it at the flea market, like if it came off of some ship, some javelin, some rock somewhere, that would be amazing to throw in there.
Yeah. Or you can only sell certain things, or some things will sell more at the flea market than they currently do. So you can do that sort of thing. So I know we have like artifacts in 317.2. So the idea of like
Yeah, I was
going
just
up and
thinking
being
about
like,
that.
I've got this gold bar from 300 years ago. I want to go sell it at the flea market because they'll give me 4 times the asking price. So
Yeah, that would be cool.
Saint Tosin asks, how much is CIG paying you? Kidding. What is the limitations that you do run into the game besides bugs? Are there any limitations that you're running into when it comes to making Machinima? Nothing?
When we're making
Yeah.
the actual show,
Yeah.
the limitations other than the bugs, I would just say some of the stuff that we've kind of already touched base on, because it takes a little bit longer to do things because of VoIP or the camera, like redoing a lot of scenes.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah,
that's in the
Armistice
bugs.
Zones
Yeah.
was also kind of a thing too, right? Like that was kind of the reason
Right.
why the bar scene was deleted, because it was in an armistice zone and we couldn't like punch people there. So that was like a big thing. We thought we were able to like maybe do some work behind scenes, but if you could do like a bar fight, that would be cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that was also a plan at some point, was bar fights in the game. That they even
Mhm.
talked about that as like getting rid of Armistice Zone so you can have bar fights. So
Yeah.
all right. Next question comes from Treesan, who asks, what locations are you most looking forward to being added into game? Callie.
Locations?
Yeah.
Is that
the
what was it?
future the locations. The future locations in every
Yeah.
game.
So there was a talk about the one station that everyone talks about that they deleted. And I forget the name of it all the time, but they said it was very cool. It was like on another asteroid or something.
Levski. Yeah, it's Delamar.
Levski, that's the one. Yeah.
Delamar's the asteroid. The name of the landing zone is Levski. But yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I'm looking forward to that one hopefully coming back because everyone raves about it all the time, and I came in too late to get a taste of it. So it'll be cool to see that.
Nice. Authentic?
Well, on their website, Roberts Industries website, there's an area that shows like the future, like all of the future. Like it's probably so far out in the future, but I'm not probably going to say the wrong number, but there's like hundreds of different,
The
you
star
know,
map? The arc star map? You're
yes,
talking
the
about?
star
Yeah.
map. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not only going to be Pyro, but you're going to be able to go to old Earth, and I think that's the one like Soul. I would like to go back and just see what's happening to us in 2900s. Like it would just be cool. I think that's the one I'd be really excited about. But any of those or having them all open would be amazing. So I'm excited about the future of the game.
Yeah. For my answer tree is as always, Magnus. It's the headquarters of Drake Interplanetary, and that's where, we talked about characters earlier. Like I similarly do roleplay every so often, and I always like to think my character comes from Magnus, which is the headquarters of Drake, and it's kind of like space Detroit in the sense that it was once this big burgeoning kind of industrial location where they built all of the ships for the Navy, and then the Navy left, and then the entire industry collapsed. So Drake came in afterwards and was like, it's free real estate, and then just built a bunch of shipyards for cheap because it was cheap land, and that's why it's Drake. So I always liked that kind of aspect of being from a place that's kind of been wronged by the government. So you're not really like big fans, but you're still like, yeah, but I'm gonna be loyal to my home kind of thing. So that's kind of my thing. So I'm waiting for Magnus to come in, and it's got a connection to Stanton. So it's one of the systems that's actually really close to Stanton too. So. All right, Treesan then asks, do you prefer to play a single character with a persistent story to story, or do you see yourself dropping into different characters in different stories for like role play and such? Authy, I'll ask you a question this one, since I know you play a lot of D&D, so.
I would say for this game, I'm feeling like I want to just have my one character, Authy. When I play things like World of Warcraft and things like that, you want to play a healer, you want to play a tank, so those types of games, you want to like hone in and just be, this this type of person. But with this game, it's you get to change. Like if I'm a miner for 6 months and I don't want to mine anymore, I can just go and take out the expanse and start selling fuel. Like I can choose my own path and I can change. There's no tree or anything right now. If
Mhm.
there was a tree, like a tree that goes up with skills and stuff, that might change my mind. But currently, I would say no, I would just have my one character, which is
Okay.
Authy.
Callie?
Yeah, I find myself falling into different roles, just because I said, like, I like to do like Authy said, mining, and then I like to also just go into a bunker with no clothes on and see what I can do with that. So that those, I don't really see those being like the same person. So yeah, I see
Mm-hmm.
myself falling in and out of different characters depending on what I'm doing.
Awesome. All right. Fist and Jawa asks, as your official stunt doubles, thank you, ladies. It was a ton of fun filming. Can't wait for the sequel. That's not a question, Fist. That's a statement. But thank you.
Aw,
Thank you
All
for being
right.
a stunt double.
yeah, thank you.
Black Sky Legion asks, hello, ladies. What is one story or aspect of Star Citizen lore that you're most captivated by so far? I'll start with you on this, Authy, because I know you've kind of looked through the Arc Star map in the past and stuff like that.
I would say I was actually captivated by, and sometimes I get the words wrong, so I apologize, but I think it's Lorville and the moons, and
Mm-hmm.
how like I was walking through and I saw that they're actually the names of, is it Hurston?
Yeah,
That's
Thurston family.
yeah. Yeah, that the names are actually of the family, and when you're in there, it gave a whole sense to the place, and I think that's the thing that grabbed me. I don't love Lorville. I
Mm-hmm.
spent a whole stream trying to run the tram there, and it's not my favorite place, but it was just very it pulled me in with the information, and that's the cool thing about this game that I have to say is every place feels different. If I tell someone I'm from Orson and you tell me you're from Lorville, I can get a vibe of like who you are almost
Yeah,
just by knowing where you're from. So that's really cool. Yeah.
yeah. I also agree. Like Lorville is one of those great places where you don't want to be there, but you feel when you're there, you're like, wow, this is really cool. I don't want to be here, but I understand why this is a really cool experience because I don't want to be here. And then very rarely in a video game do you sit there and go, I don't want to be here. This is kind of nasty. I don't want to be in this place where people are wearing bags over their heads to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Callie, question about you. Is there anything about the story or lore aspect of Star Citizen that's captivated you?
So I really like the alien stuff.
Hmm.
I like all the different breeds of aliens that they have, and learning about them during Alien Week was really cool for me. I think that's also why I was a little bit like disappointed by Alien Week, but the lore kept me like super interested. So it did help me like deep dive into all the different characters and all the different breeds and who hates humans and who doesn't. I think it's just really neat, the whole backlog of um, the alien lore.
Alien lore. Well, who's your favorite alien race?
Probably Cartool. I know. I'm
The
probably
the
like,
the Xian.
the Jean. Yep. Because I don't know. I just like them. I don't know why. I just do.
And cool. All right. Midnight Black SC asks, question for Offie. Can the ostentatious glamour of the Bennu merchantman lead it to to replacing the 890 in your heart? Have you seen the Bennu merchantman? The
I've
interiors?
seen, yeah, I have seen pictures of that, and I have to say that it does look nice, but I don't think it's gonna top the 890. The 890 Origin ships have like certain things about them, like well, they're not aliens, but it's not
Yeah.
that I don't like alien ships. It's just that does seem like a really cool ship, and I like the concept behind it. It's really cool, but it doesn't have like the awesome countertops. It doesn't have like the fresh fruit and fresh vegetables laying out on different places. Like there's definitely a vibe, like a pool table. There's definitely like a vibe and a lot of that's in the 600, but I think you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's definitely an origin
The vibe of it. Yeah.
vibe. Yeah.
Um, Robert Voss asks, Horde or Alliance?
Horde. I started at Alliance though, but I went Horde.
Yes. Do you play as well, Callie, World of Warcraft, stuff like that? No? No.
No, no, I don't.
I'll ask you, since you've played Skyrim, Imperial or Stormcloak?
Imperial. I have to go Imperial. I'm sorry. I know. I'm canceled.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
know.
canceled.
I was always torn because it's like, hey, Stormcloak are obvious, and then you realize like they're horrible, horrible people, and you're like,
Yeah. That's what happened to me. That was like the whole thing with Lorville too. I loved Lorville at first, and then so I made my home there, and then I didn't know the background of Lorville, and then my chat started telling me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I hate it here. We have to move." So, yeah, that's the same thing.
All right. Last question is from Midnight Black SC, who asks, does anything about Pyro have you excited for role playing or making machinima there? Callie.
More evil things. Yeah, that makes me a little bit more excited. That more kind of like Star Wars, Darth Vader type vibes, possibly. I don't know. That makes me excited. Yeah.
Avi?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel like there's a lot of things that are coming, like certain ships aren't going to be able to jump through. You are going to have to actually get fuel. Like there's a lot of plays that are, being talked about that seem like they're going to be great for not only playing but for movies too. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, that was the last question that we've had. Thank you both for joining us for the questions and answers. As always, make sure that you're following twitch.tv/AuthenticYoung and twitch.tv/kaliwali for their own live streams content. Make sure you check out Galactic Gals, I think is what it is, which is not quite out yet, but it's, some early footage is out and such like that. So make sure you check that out when that goes out. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button here. Join us live on Twitch. Saturdays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, to ask your own questions and chat with other cast members. I tend to have a rotating cast where every week it's somewhat different. No one ever repeats if I can help it. So thank you all for joining us, and like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.